When I put out songs, I had to go against DMX,
Eminem,
Jay-Z, Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Luda.
Yeah.
All of us are fighting for one spot. So from 99 to like 2008, 10, it's the hardest era ever to get records.
Cedric
When
over
I
there
put
built
out
like a
songs,
seal.
I had
Ain't that
to go
what
against-
Cat said?
Cedric over there looking hefty. Cedric's one of my favorite. I ain't gonna lie. Cedric is funny. He has some funny moments. But what do y'all think about what Nelly said? Do you think that from 99 to 2010 is the hardest era of hip hop?
It's the hardest era of hip hop,
Yeah,
or was
just
it the
as far as
hardest
to
era,
be an artist?
or it was
To
the
be an
hardest era
artist.
for him? Because that's kind of what it sounded like.
No,
'Cause
just
the
to
other
be-
people he named, like Lil Wayne, like he was like
Just
well,
to
he
be an
was at the
artist
top.
in general from 99 to 2010.
I mean, there was a lot of heavy hitters during that time. I mean, just thinking about where we are now, when we're thinking about like our top artists right now, a lot of them are aging out, so to speak. And the newer artists that we have coming in, would you hold them to the would you hold them to the same light as a DMX, as a Nelly? And it's like, I just feel like the
J. Cole definitely top.
Well, I'm sorry. He's part of the aging out group. I'm talking. J. Cole,
Continue your
aging
point,
out.
and
Yeah,
then
them
Cabrera, you can-
niggas getting old. But I definitely don't think this younger generation is taking the torch in the right direction to where they thinking they're surpassing a DMX or surpassing a Jay-Z or surpassing a Lil Wayne. It's like after that era, we had the next generation to take the torch. We had our Kendricks, we had our Coles, we had our Kanyes, we had our 50s. And it's like, who really from this generation is taking that torch? Who are you looking to?
Okay.
Who are you looking to as the savior for the game?
Okay.
And it's like, we don't have that. Maybe it's just not there yet. Maybe we just need wait a little bit longer in the latter part of Cole, Kendrick. Maybe capitalist Jay-Z got a few more years in him. Maybe got another album full of lessons or something. But like, maybe we're just not waiting long enough. But at the same time, I feel like every year, these albums are just getting worse. Overall, even from the artists that I'm like, oh yeah, man,
This gonna be. A good
I'm
album.
waiting for this one. Then I'm like, man, I called out of work for this, and it's like I didn't call out of work, but I'm like, it's like, bro,
I was like, man,
you're expecting artists to come with the same energy as they were, like he was mentioning in the early 2000s, in the 2010s, 2015s, and I don't feel like that same weight is applied to this new generation. Like, you can kind of just put out music, and it is what it is. There is no competition in that sense, I don't feel.
I think there's competition, and I think that's just a different way. I feel like what you're saying is what, like, generations been saying about any type of new version of hip hop and rap. And I say that because I think, first of all, to what Nelly was saying, like, I do think at that time there were a lot, to you guys' point, like heavy hitters, but it was also during a time where the music industry was very much, you had to have like really good talent, one, but also you had to find someone who was willing to put you on too. Because now I think the generation is different, because people who actually have raw talent or who wants to actually get their music out there, they can with social media and technology. So that does change who's able to participate, because it's no longer CEOs of these corporation or music labels making decisions on what they think the American people are going to like or what they're going to actually invest in. People actually are able to live up with independent artists and get them signed and stuff like that. So I think how it changed as far as the game is different. Like, he did have some heavy hitters, but imagine if during that time where rap was like that, if people had technology or like social media had that much power back in the day, there might be way more heavy hitters.
So do you believe that? Do you believe?
Like,
do you
the
believe
next
that this,
is
no. Do you believe that that present day is the toughest era of hip hop then? Or
I wouldn't say like today is the toughest like era of hip hop, because I think at the end of the day, like, hip hop and rap kind of lost its value when it became a media that everyone consumes. And I think every time that does happen with whatever topic or whatever thing that's hot, when everybody starts liking it, it loses its authenticity. Yes, it loses that, because I would say, like, at the end of the day, there is still people who are out there that may align more with what real hip hop and rap was, which is more or less telling your story and like bringing attention to things that are happening around you, I would say. And I think now what we're seeing is just more of a, hey, let's make music that people like, can dance to, really focus on drugs, really focus on sex, which has always been in hip hop. But I think now it's more saturated with that type of music or with that type of hip hop or whatever. So I don't say it's like the toughest, but I also would not say that it doesn't have, I would argue, some heavy hitters as far as how they were able to change the sound of hip hop and what they're able to, or rap, and what they're able to introduce, I would say. Because then, like, when you say who we're handing off the baton to, like, obviously if Nicki wasn't beefing with everybody fucking in the game, she's handing off the baton to Megan.
She's aging out too.
But I'm just saying she's aging out too. But I would say ideally, like, Megan's coming in, that's really hot. But then you also have Cardi B trying to come back, but I wouldn't still want to put her in a rapper category. Then you have Lotto, who, I mean, her last single, whatever, that's no discussion. Then you have, I'm just saying there's a lot of female rappers that are coming up and they just need time to marinate and get their craft right. Because, of course, when they get older, shaking ass and talking about sex isn't going to be something they want to talk about. But you can actually see them transition to some of the more well-known rappers today is what I'm trying to say. So I think there's room for growth there. But then when it does come to male rappers today, I mean, it's a controversial take or whatever, but of course I'm giving like Young Thug, Kodak Black. I've always been saying that, even though he has a lot of mental health issues. His bars too, though. I wouldn't say they're aging out, because Kodak is way younger than Drake. Like, he's like, yes, he's popular at the same time that they're popular, because they are, in, to you guys' point, been releasing music for so fucking long. But Kodak, to me, was a part of, like, you know, kind of younger. And if you want to talk about more like what who I've been liking, well,
okay, let's specify that. Let's specify the times real quick.
Out too.
Let's specify the times real quick. Let's specify. So I'll say 99.
50, I mean 50 and stuff is from
I'll say
99 to 2010.
Yeah, you also said 50 and Kanye, which I would put them in the 99 to 2010 bracket. But Kanye is like Kanye is like a guy that had many primes. You know what I'm saying? So he had you had 99 to you had 99 to 2010, but you also had 2010 to
predominant in the 2010s.
And I feel like 2016 to 2020 though, but that's what I'm saying, from 2010 to what, 2016 you had
we'll do 2010 to
Drake,
2016,
Nicki Minaj,
and then we'll do 2016 to present day. So
right, and that's where I'm
99
Nicki,
to 2010, 2010 to 2016, and 2016 to 2024. Now, what I will say is Nelly is 1000% right. That was the toughest era of hip hop. I do appreciate you for giving the background of the female rap game, because the female rap game and the male hip rap game are two totally different things.
Because there wasn't a lot of female rappers.
Right.
There was a lot of opportunities for women like that.
I think the point that you made, and I want us to kind of bring the conversation there more, is when hip hop became the number one genre in the world, like, it was a great thing to see, but it also brought a lot of things with it. And since that year that hip hop became the number one genre, it's kind of like, as far as value of what, like, the real music lovers, what we really deem as like true hip hop, or the true sound of hip hop, we don't hear that anymore. And we started to hear it less and less. The quality of the music has been less and less ever since that. And there's a reason. Like you said, the popularity of the genre has created something where hip-hop is not even what we thought hip-hop was. Hip-hop is not what it was when Nelly and Jay-Z and DMX and Kanye and 50 were out there doing it. It's not the same thing anymore.
Loves 50, bro.
50 is that guy. 50 is that guy. And it's like
hits on hits on hits.
What is the music now? Where is it going? I kind of think it's like when I was saying about the NBA, like once LeBron and Steph and KD and them leave, it's probably just going to be like a community cast that is the face of the NBA. There's going to be no more big face like LeBron or Steph or anything. Or maybe it's going to be Victor Wembanyama, or maybe it's going to be somebody that's going to be born. But I just
attention on them. That's the issue.
I just don't.
Attention on everybody
I
else.
don't see it now.
And Ja, like what?
Yeah, Ja's getting in too much trouble to be the face.
Ja's,
they tried to give it to him.
Ja's Kodak. He could be great if he stay out of trouble.
There you go.
Okay.
So we see
and
people
he just needs to get better people around him. Pay his people.
1000%. We see people with a lot of potential, but we see people with a lot of potential, but they just don't seem to be ready for that number one spot to carry the genre forward. So it's just a crazy place that we're just in 2024.
And I'll even take it a little step further. I feel like I definitely agree with you, but I feel like another part to it is, I feel like black people as a whole, I feel like we're just not allowed to have gatekeepers. And if we're talking about coming from being strict, having to stand on tables and rap for these CEOs and stuff, trying to get a record label spot, going from that and then just completely opening the floodgates. I'm not saying that I feel like people should be strapped to the label, have to do all that performative shit just to get a chance. Mm-hmm. But I do definitely feel like there should have been some type of talent show for these niggas to get some limelight. Just completely opening the floodgates and giving everybody a microphone.
Because there is no talent.
It's like, oh my God, some of these niggas are just trash. And some people's music taste and opinion is just ass. And and it's like, you give enough people a chance. That's crazy to say. But if you give enough people a chance.
Open the door up too much, we're going to allow trash in.
Yeah, if
flies in. I forgot what the saying is.
If you leave the door open for too long,
close my screen door.
Yeah, it's some type of old saying.
Yeah, your grandma used to tell you to close that screen door.
And if you don't close that door and you don't have or hold on to a standard of what this is supposed to be, over time, it's just going to get diluted and turned into something else. Not to say hip hop, there's not a lot of great artists now. There is. But a lot of the great artists, to me, I feel like are more alternative now. I don't lean as heavy into hip hop as I used to because the music for me now is just like, it all kind of is just
NBA?
But
I do like NBA.
I think Cabria is looking at.
I do like Young Boy. Is he considered a younger rapper? Or is he in the middle?
I think
so,
yeah. He's. I think. But that's also an example of what we're seeing today, being let in, just producing, and it's not really much of a focus on like what hip hop was, which is like quality, like
And I think
quality music.
Cabria is looking at it from the evolution standpoint, which is a great thing. It's kind of like I want to make another basketball point, like. They look at the game now, and the game is way more skilled. Like I come from the era of watching like Melo, Bron, Kobe, like Allen Iverson, Tracy McGrady. Like that was my era, and I feel like that was the best era I ever seen. They don't play like they used to play back then. They maybe had 10 3-point attempts as a team. Now you have 40, 50, 60 3-point attempts as a team. The game is faster. The game is more skilled. It's just a different game, and it's like you just got to sit there and kind of embrace the change and the evolution of what's going on, and I feel like hip hop is doing that. But I just want the niggas that really want to stay true to what hip hop really was. I mess with the Nick Grants, the ones out there that are still doing lyricist stuff. I still mess with that. So, I mean. The world is going in a way, and we just have to embrace that way.
You kind of just got to find your couple artists and hold tight. Go. It's no more just turning on the radio and be like, Bob, Bob, okay, what's okay?
And just being
yeah. Now it's like, okay, let me see what this podcast Blam talking about.
Let me see what Blam's talking about. Yeah, you ain't gotta. I mean, it's helping us. Hey, the music is bad out there. That means people want to spend time listening to podcasts.
Yeah, that music is bad. That's so depressing.
What you saying? I mean, I get what y'all are saying, but I mean, I don't
music
know.
Is bad,
I keep my.
What was your favorite album? It's been 3 months of the year. We would have had an album 5 years ago that would have been like, I'm talking about the album. What album were you talking about?
I'm not really talking about a lot of albums. Okay,
I still haven't listened to it.
I listened to some of that. I listened to some of Vultures. But there's not. But I think Schoolboy Q, his album. But like, to be mindful, I'm not. I mean, be mindful. But just to be clear, like, I'm still waiting on J. Cole to drop. So
okay.
For me, it's nothing much to talk about until J. Cole.
Well, you're used to waiting. So
right.
It's okay.
It's okay. What did you think about the Schoolboy Q?
Well, I guess I wasn't waiting that much because he was on some singles.
Right. Schoolboy Q was one of your. Schoolboy Q is maybe Xavier's top 5 favorite.
Still better
artists.
than Kendrick to me. Best on TDE.
Anyways.
Top spot. But like,
what did you think about his last album?
I think it was a very good album. Okay. Very solid album.
Album of the
year? No.
It's my album of the year so far. It's my album of the year.
Album of the year so far, yes, because what else has really dropped this year? Nothing. But at the same time, I held Schoolboy to a higher standard. He got, at least to me, at least 2 classics under his belt. 2 classics and then 2 at least high tier solid projects.
Okay.
His last project before this, what was that? Crash Talk? No,
Crash Talk was yes.
Crash Talk, it was cool, but that is when I started to see like a slow decline of the artists that I grew up with. I was like, okay, he's not coming with the same heat.
Come on, he got to make different albums every album.
Yeah, you can make different albums. That's why I said I'll never knock it. I'll never knock a nigga for trying something new unless it's A$AP Rocky. Like I'll never knock
get the
you.
lip balm.
Yeah,
did you? I kind of want
I'd never knock you for trying something new. But Blue Lips just did not hit for me. I definitely think it's one of his worst albums. And then to go on Twitter and see him rank this as his favorite album that he's dropped, I was like, what are you smoking right now? Like, dude.
What about let me just ask you this and then we're gonna move on. Do you think Blank Face is a classic album?
No.
Wow.
I don't think Blackface is a classic.
Wow.
I think his last
I would put that as
album
a
was
sleeper
Oxymoron.
classic. I would put that as a sleeper classic.
I think he definitely has at least 2 classic albums. I put Oxymoron as 1, but some 2 higher tier albums, and I would think that I would put Blank Face on there.
Okay.
Blank Face, higher tier album. I would say Habits and Contradictions
yes.
and Oxymoron are his 2 classics for me.
1000%.
Blank Face, a high tier album.
Okay.
Blue Lips, you could have kept it. He said he had it for a couple years. Could have kept it for a couple.
You ain't
more.
heard from him in 5 years. You can't just keep this album.
And bro, I feel the same. I feel like, man, I need some more Schoolboy Q because that didn't feel no appetite. That's like I've been walking around the jungle for 5 days, 6-7 days, and then I see an apple, and as soon as I get the apple, some big ass nigga come and eat the apple and give me the stem. I'm like, what is this about to do for me, sir?
This man said Blue Lips was a stem. That's
Blue
crazy.
Lips was a stem, and I was just like, there were some solid attempts, but overall, like, just it was a miss for me. Like, there's a couple songs on there that were honestly really good, but he had like some flashes of he was trying to be Lance Skywalker. He thought he was
They was all in the studio
Oakland
together, bro.
an Oakland rapper for a second, but then he wasn't even on the song, and it's just like, I just expected more.
Okay.
Expected more. Don't see him winning any awards for that this year, unfortunately.
Speaking of another TD artist, I think this artist has got into a stratosphere, and I wanted to ask you guys a question. I'm gonna just say a couple names: Janet Jackson, Mariah Carey, Celine Dion.
You just name it black people? Oh, you said Celine Dion.
I was like, whoa,
Madonna.
Madonna.
I think SZA has entered the pop superstar arc. So do you guys believe that she is a pop star? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm so sorry. Because
Wow.
you listed so many people like in the future possibly, but like as far as because when you ask that question, I think is SZA as popular.
SZA is not a pop star.
Let me
It's gotta be a package.
I'm just saying, if you're saying is SZA as popular as Taylor Swift, the answer is flat out no.
Who's as popular as Taylor Swift in the world?
But isn't Taylor Swift a pop star?
Yes, that isn't class. Okay.
You just asked
Michael Jackson was the biggest everything.
Right,
That doesn't
so
mean
if you
that
think
nobody
about
else
that
was
with pop,
anybody.
But I'm not saying that. When you think about pop and you think about SZA and where she's at, I'm not saying SZA's bad. I'm just saying as far as that star quality or like what we're trying to say, like she's the superstar. She's a star in pop. She's a star in R&B or whatever. I'm just saying she's known, but she's still not on that Taylor Swift level.
Yeah, like she's staring at me right now, so I feel so bad saying it. Like she's looking at me sitting down like.
You're saying SZA is not a superstar.
I'm not saying
she's a superstar.
not.
I feel like she is not a superstar. I feel like she is great. I feel like she has at least one classic album. But I don't think one classic album suffices to be a pop star superstar. When I think of pop star superstar, I'm thinking
Drake. She's not even on Drake's level.
I don't think she's on Drake's level. I don't think she's on Kendrick Lamar's level. I don't think she's on J. Cole's level. I don't think she's even on. Okay, that might be.
Bro, her.
I don't even think she's.
I'm not saying she's not
I think
great.
Megan Thee Stallion got more hype, low key, than SZA.
Stop.
Yeah, I'm
Don't
not
be
trying to say
disrespectful.
she's
Don't be
bad.
disrespectful.
I'm not saying
Like,
she's bad,
honestly.
but she's not on that level. Because I mean, but again, I had this whole debate with another lot of motherfucking people. She went on tour. Okay, cool. But like, she needs to. How would I explain it?
I don't know what it is.
I wouldn't even put her up there. Like,
Bro.
I don't know what it is, but I just wouldn't say.
Bigger-
First of all,
SZA.
SZA. Let me just.
but
say
I'll
it.
put Nicki
SZA,
as a superstar.
Is SZA selling out stadiums?
SZA, yeah, she is.
she's
SZA's a superstar, guys. I just want to say this. In the U.S., SOS, her last album, achieved several accomplishments and broke a series of records on the overall Billboard 200 chart and its component charts. Fueled by a 5-year wait for its release, it debuted at #1 on the Billboard with 318,000 equivalent album units sold and stayed at the top 10 for 10 weeks.
You mean her Drake album where she sounded like everybody else? on that?
Bro,
It was a solid album.
SZA was on Billboard for 21 weeks.
I mean,
Like Snooze was the biggest
a lot of stuff be
song
on the billboards.
Right, but you also have to take in consideration like what we were just talking about. Like she's a good artist, but does she have music Like, I don't even know if SZA has even fucking Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
You don't walk like you used
pop
to
star has
no
to transcend.
more. Like,
She's transcended.
You're playing that.
Man. I don't know what it.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying not, but I'm saying did she transcend it to the point where you're putting SZA on at the wedding?
Yeah, maybe because she doesn't get as much exposure as everybody else.
SZA on,
But like,
but she's
I'm
not
like thinking pop star. You're gonna see her on like some sort of commercial.
She was just on Sesame Street.
This nigga says
Ain't that a big thing for kids?
Canceled?
Or no?
What do you mean no?
Y'all didn't
No
listen to
fucking-
Sesame- y'all didn't
ain't
listen to
no
Sesame
motherfucking
Street?
little ass kids watching Sesame Street. When's the last time you been around a kid? And
Why
what
were
the
you
hell they
watching Sesame
watch?
Street?
Man, I didn't watch. I don't
Like,
remember.
what?
You don't. I don't. I
Okay,
think-
so you didn't even watch it.
Right.
I
sure-
watched it, fool.
So you didn't even watch it.
You didn't watch
I
it.
It's
watched
like
it, fool.
no.
You didn't
do I
watch
think
it.
SZA
do I
is a
think
damn
SZA
pop star.
That's like, oh, she's
yeah,
on
she's a pop
Sponge-
star,
like,
bro.
No, I said it once. I say it
No.
again. I blame Punch.
Little kids don't even watch that
He
shit.
is not putting SZA, and she is not in the position that she needs to be. She is way
Yeah.
too talented to be playing the back burner.
Don't put that on Punch. Come on,
Nigga,
man.
who else is it gonna be on
Is
it?
that the
Stop.
manager?
Y'all gotta
You don't think
stop
she would
with
wanna
the
Is that
Punch
the
hate.
manager?
Yes.
You don't think she would want to make more music, branch off a little bit more?
What I will say is this: they said that a deluxe of the album was coming. If this album has been charting for so long, why would y'all not have released a deluxe already for this album?
Bro, 'cause
now
they
she's
don't-
talking about a whole new album's coming out.
Do you think they
some
want another
stuff got-
Kendrick going on?
I think.
You think they want another artist leaving them in the dust?
Stop.
Now they
Don't-
gotta just have
Stop.
Schoolboy Q drop this mid ass album.
I have
Oh,
too much
God.
respect.
No.
I have too much respect for Top Dog and Punch for you to put
Bro,
this
at
on
one
them.
point you had respect for Diddy. So respect don't mean nothing in
ain't
Hollywood.
your
We're moving
ass.
on.